All right, welcome to another episode of Two Idiots Drink Vodka and Talk About Hockey. I'm Dan.
And I'm Rhodes. And cheers, Dan.
Cheers. Fuck, I didn't pour one yet. Give me a second.
Oh, what is this?
Fucking amateur hour.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, living
Cheers,
up to
bud.
the name of Two Idiots, but yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm going
This episode-
straight from the bottle. I'm not even
Atta
bothering with the
boy.
shot glass.
Oh, I'm too Polish. I got to drink out of my shot glass.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Once again, this episode brought to you by Vodka. All right. So predictions from last week. How did we do?
I
looks
did
like we were-
terrible. I can tell you that.
We were both dead wrong on the Edmonton and Islanders game, and
Yep.
1 point for Dan. I got the Calgary score right there, 3-1 Canucks.
Yep. So let's start keeping track of that now, I guess. So that puts you up 1-0 in weekly predictions for the season.
Yeah, out of 2 weeks, that's we're batting pretty low.
Well, I guess start somewhere, but yeah.
But yeah, no, last week's games there. I mean, like that Edmonton game, they just fell flat. I don't even know. I didn't really watch too much of it, to be quite honest. It was just
I didn't
It was just
either.
cold.
I just heard in the third period they just collapsed and allowed like 4 goals, and McDavid just kind of, like a shark smelled blood in the water and just fed. That's kind of what
yeah, yeah. I feel like the story of this week was that honestly, it was like Lankinen was keeping us alive. So it was like that game, yeah, kept us in it until it just sort of fell apart. Like we fell off the rails, and it was like you said, 4 goals in 5 minutes, and then Calgary was like, I'd say that was probably our first like full 60 minutes of hockey I've seen for a bit this season. I thought they played really well that game.
Yeah, it's bizarre though, right? Like I was telling you before this, it's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde. It seems like with these guys, they're either really good or they're really bad.
Well, yeah, and it's like it seems to be a case of like once somebody either gets added to the roster or somebody gets taken away, and like I get it. It's like consistency in the lines is kind of key, but like yeah, it seems like anytime that there's like a wrench thrown in where like somebody gets added or subtracted and the lineups change, like they just play with each other again.
Giggity. Yeah, I don't know, man. It feels like it's almost like coaching or something, but I don't know that it's coaching either. I don't want to put that all on Tocchet. It just doesn't feel like they're prepared every game, especially the home games. Like their away record is awesome, but they haven't played outside of the Florida teams. They haven't really played any good teams on the road.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And like I think it's just I mean there's that factor, but like I don't know, like Tocchett's been an excellent coach, so I don't want to shit on him too hard, but like I do feel like there's a couple of times last week where like call a fucking timeout, man. Like, the momentum is swinging towards the other team so hard. Just break it. Call a timeout like with the Edmonton game there, and even fuck the game here with the Islanders. It's like after a goal or two, it's like okay, just like if the guys are clearly scrambling like that, like honest to God, that Islanders game, that first and second period was some of the worst fucking hockey I've seen the Canucks play in a long time.
I couldn't
They were
believe I remember messaging you. They had 5 shots 30 minutes into the game. They had 5 shots 40 minutes into the game. They started the third period with 5 shots on net. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
yeah, it's like they were chasing the puck. They looked fucking scrambly. There's a couple of times where I've seen like Hronek and other guys like literally go to make a pass and throw it into no man's land just for the other team to pick up. Like I was like, I don't know, it was painful. And then the third period, they finally like figured their shit out, but it was too little, too late. Like,
yeah, it was bizarre. It was really bizarre. I want to go back to Lankinen just for a bit though, just to like to read these stats of the last 5 games, right? Like
that's my boy. That's my boy.
So playing Anaheim, he's got a .955 save percentage. Playing LA, it's a .929. Then the Edmonton game, 741. Then Calgary, it's a .966. And then New York, it's an .871. Like
yeah, so
it's crazy.
But that New York game, those first 3 goals, it was literally fucking open net tap in, fluky redirection off of Miller, and an open net tap in. So like I can't really blame his goalie statistics on his play. It's the team in front of him that's been letting him down those games.
Yeah, absolutely. They're giving those cross crease passes away, right? And sometimes it happens, right? No matter how well you play, teams are going to score. You're not going to be perfect all the time, but like Jesus Christ, it's funny too because it's like we're shitting on them like they're a bad team, and they're really not. They're what 7-4-3 or something right now. Like
8-4-3. Yeah,
that's better than 500. Like actual 500 even, right? If you count the overtime losses as losses, they're still 8. It's still 8.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're like we're batting over 60%, but it's like it seems to be like I don't know, like as of late there haven't been too many games that we've lost that have been kind of close. It's like I mean, especially last week, both of them were just kind of blowouts, but. Yeah. That's all right. I mean, it is like I don't know. Like I appreciate Tocchet there taking some onus. Like after that last game, he literally put it on himself. He said like he apologized to the fans, saying like, I'm not doing my job well enough. And like you're right, it's like you can't pin it all on the coach, but like he obviously recognizes that he's made some mistakes. And I mean, fuck, they're just gonna come up better after. So I'm not too concerned overall.
They have to, and. I don't even know what to say. I'm happy that Tocchet doing that. I think it was the right thing to do. Just to make it about him, so that they're not fielding a bunch of questions about Susie and Garland going down or whatever, right? Like Myers taking
Garland's
whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just he basically he managed to draw it all to him. So that because the players are going to be beating themselves up enough, right? I guarantee it. Every single guy in that locker room is pissed off. So I appreciate that about Tocchet. I think that was the right move to make.
Yeah. Well, yeah, here, let's take a shot to old Lanky there.
Yeah.
Fucking being unreal and to Tocchet to keeping it real.
Fuck yeah. Cheers.
Way ahead of you, sorry. But enough of the negativity. Honestly, there were some fucking great highlights from this last week. That goal, first, I just got
that goal.
Letterkenny there.
Yeah,
that was a fucking clapper. Like that was a beauty first NHL goal, and like I'm just looking
so close to getting another one too, right? When
I know he like fucking tripped up on himself, tried so hard. He was like down on one knee, like it was beautiful.
Yeah. And even in the first game, he had some really good looks in that first game, that game against Calgary too. I think they're gonna have a tough time not keeping him in the lineup the way he's playing.
I'm not mad about that. Having depth isn't a bad thing.
No.
And I mean, for like we have the salary cap space to bring him up, so it's not that's not the concern either, right?
No, he's entry level, right? So that's not a problem. And I love because I got him on my fantasy, right? So every other day he's like out because they're sending him down to the AHL in between game days.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, so you can basically put him into IR plus.
Well, no, I've got that spot taken up, and I actually it's been fucking around with me because it puts him in like DN or NA status, not available.
So that's not anything you can put in a.
No, I just think it's funny because I keep seeing it change every day.
Oh, yeah, just to save those extra couple grand or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's our management this year has been pretty good with making magic happen with the money we have left.
They want that cap space. They're making moves, man. And speaking of moves, I just tell you, man, I'd love to see them take Letang. If Pittsburgh's having a fire sale, he's the guy I want to see from that lineup. Because I don't want him to be a number one defense. He's not a number one defenseman in Vancouver because that's Quinn Hughes. He's not number 2 because that's Hronik. He's slotting in at number 3, number 4 with Myers is what I think. And that is a fantastic player to have at that position.
Oh,
even past his prime.
I wanted to just before we jumped into some trade speculations here, I wanted to just quickly touch on just a couple more highlights if that's all right there.
Yep.
Yeah, just I feel like Letterkenny's looking great on that first line, and also Petey, even during those shit games, he was our best player on the ice, and it's just such a sigh of relief to see him finally finding his game and smiling. Like I've seen the guy smile a few times. It was like, yes, he's starting to come back.
Yeah, I saw him saying that on Sportsnet. They were talking about the chicken to the egg, right? Is he having fun because he's scoring, or is he scoring because he's having fun? Which came first? And I think it's a matter of both. You know? It's great. It's great to see. I mean, he's a guy that feeds off of getting points. and now that he's getting points, I think it's only going to be a snowball effect for him. So it's fantastic to see, and I'm loving the fact that like on my fantasy, right? He's getting hits. He blocks shots. You know, he's actually pretty well rounded for our fantasy league. It's now that he's getting points, I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He'll be climbing up the rankings in no time here.
I just like to see him shoot the puck more, get more shots on net.
Well, so one thing I read that was kind of interesting, and I kind of agree with is PD likes to drive the play, right? He's currently playing on a line with Garland, and don't get me wrong, I love Garland, but Garland also loves to hold the puck, right? He being a small guy, he can dance and skate around dudes, and he can dish it out then. Which like the thought was that he'd be able to be kind of a setup man for PD, but I think PD prefers being that guy with the puck control, and their two talents are conflicting each other.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
No, and that's where I think Letterkenny's staying. I think when Brock Besser gets back, whenever he's back from his concussion, one of those two guys is going down onto PD's line, and PD needs a trigger man. Because as much as PD can shoot, he loves to set guys up. You know, he's apples for days.
I totally agree. Like I personally, what I would like to experiment with is when Besser's back, him and Miller's chemistry is great. You know, like obviously Miller's a long-term Canuck player. It'd be great to have him paired up with Besser if we can re-sign him, right?
Yeah.
For a long-term thing. And then, that third's been a bit of a revolving door, but Suter's been playing well there. Like you can slot in, whatever, put a name. On that third line though, I'd love to see Letterkenny get paired up with EP40 there. I think that would be, those two Swedes could probably make some magic happen.
I'd actually like the opposite. Just my own mind thinking about it, I'd like to see Brock with Petey and Letterkenny stay with Miller, and only on the purpose that, and maybe it doesn't work, but they're both kind of lighter guys, and I kind of like the fact Brock plays a heavy game for a guy that's really a trigger man, but he's a bigger guy. He's really filled out, and he can be heavy on the puck, and I think Pettersson kind of needs somebody that can bull around a little bit like the Moose used to.
I can I can appreciate that actually. That's a good take there. You kind of need that balance and size. And Miller's strong on the puck. He's got no issues. And Suter seems to play well with him, so throw him up there. And then, I've been liking DeBrusk. He's been slowly finding his game with the Canucks. And, if he can stay consistent on PD's line with Besser there, fucking watch out. That could be...
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time with DeBrusk, right? I think it's a matter of time of him just settling in, getting to know the two different centers and how to feed off of them, because obviously they play very different styles of game, right?
Yeah, agreed. And then, the recent practice today there, they had the G unit line, Joshua, Bluger, and Garland back together. I don't know. Last season, those guys just made magic. I hope they can just reconnect again. And
I think you have to do it. I think you have to do it. They were so good together. They were really they drove. There was times they were our number one line. There was a lot of the times through the dog days of the season last year, especially through January, February. They were the line, right?
Oh yeah, they were helping win us games 100%.
Yeah.
And especially for Joshua, in my opinion, with him being out for how long he has been. To help build up his confidence, why not throw him with guys that he knows how to play with already?
Yeah.
Right? He played 11 minutes or something, 12 minutes last night, had 4 hits, looked all right. For his first game back, that's all you can ask playing on the fourth line, right? But throw him back with his old partners and
so what does that leave for the fourth line? That puts Sherwood with Heinen and
and then
who?
I guess Höglander, I guess, but I think Sherwood and Höglander. Yeah. I guess, Sherwood and Höglander kind of both played the right side, and Heinen's been... Honestly, I've liked Heinen this year. I've had no complaints about him. His defensive game's been good. He's been producing points. You sort of need a center on that line, so, I guess Ratty comes to mind. Or Ratty.
Oh, Radu, yeah. Well, Radu, close enough. But I guess maybe then is Höglander the odd man out?
That's kind of what I'm seeing, and it's I guess him and Sherwood could sort of rotate in and out, but I just love Sherwood's physical play, and he fucking pisses people off. So how do you keep him out of the lineup?
He's so fast, man. That's what's actually blown me away about him the most. Is I've really noticed over the last week and a bit, that dude has wheels. The way that he separates from other players is just incredible, or he gets to them in such a fast, short amount of time. Like, he's quick out there. He's way faster than I ever realized.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's just a little bulldog. I love him, man.
Yeah.
He's quickly become like a fan favorite for me.
Yeah, and I think it's those wheels or how he gets all the hits. To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's because he's just moving faster than everyone else out there. So he's on you before you even realize. But it's great. I wish I'd picked him up. I looked at him in fantasy, man, and then I didn't. Somebody snagged him, and just no way that you're getting that guy up from him.
I'm gonna take credit on that one. I ended up giving Q the tip. I'm like, dude, you should pick up Sherwood because like he was kind of lacking on hits. Like he had Luzon, but Luzon was like slow to start the season. He like picked him up, and yeah, I think like right after that he had a 10 hit and a 12 hit game or something. I was like, fuck, that should have kept my own advice then.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's kind of dead last in the league, and you and I are tied for first. So I think it's okay if I help him out a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, plus, I'm pretty happy with my offensive core right now that I don't really need a Sherwood on my team.
No, I'd say my biggest, if we're just going to talk fantasy for a little bit, we can shelf it. We can shelf it till the end if we want. But I'm just, for me, my scoring, my goals and assists are probably my weakest category right now. Pasternak hasn't been living up to it. Trocheck, even Scheifele. I've got Scheifele and Ehlers, but they're not like they're not lighting the world on fire.
I know it's like with how good Winnipeg's been, they've had like production from all 3-4 lines, which is obviously why they've been so effective. But like, you're right. It's like just because you think, oh, the team's winning, those first line guys are putting up all the points, but that's not the case for sure. Like, I mean,
it's not like a McDavid or a Kucherov or whatever, right?
No, yeah, those guys are day in and day out. Like I picked up Velarde just because he's on that first line with Connor and Scheifele, and I mean, of course, the day I pick him up, he goes fucking -2 and nothing else. But
yeah,
that's just point proven that it's like they can win games without. I mean, they lost that game against Tampa, but they can win games without their top line producing.
Yeah, I've got too many centers on my lineup is my biggest issue, and I just don't know how to get rid of them. I can't. Like, I've got Trocheck, Bennett, and Scheifele, and I'm not getting rid of any of those three.
I know that's tough, but that's the thing is look for a trade, man. That's where you need to start trying to farm one of those guys out in a trade.
That's what I've been
that is weak, right?
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely what I've been looking at because obviously I've got Pettersson as well, but he can play. He's a center left wing, so I can toss him on the left wing when I've got two other centers, and it sucks when they play like it keeps being set up where it's like Tuesday all the teams play, Wednesday one team plays, Thursday all the teams play.
Dude, that's the thing. Like the NHL schedule kind of has sucked ass a lot of weeks this year, especially for fantasy, where it's like all the games line up on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and there might be like 2 or 3 games on the off nights, right? Like last week was actually pretty good. It was pretty balanced. There was like 8 to 9 games per day, so it's like at least I didn't have to bench anybody this week.
Yeah, I had to bench a lot of guys last week. I got benched.
But that's your center issue.
Yeah, my center issue is a big part of it, right? I mean, yeah, I'm only running 2 goalies and 4 defensemen, and I have 1 defenseman that's kind of a floater. Actually, I've got 5 right now because I've got 1 on IR, but I'm kind of floating a defenseman, and that's, I've got about 1 forward and 1 defenseman that I float and that's about it. The rest of them I'm pretty happy with.
I've kind of got I think I've got 1 floater at this point. I'm pretty happy with my lineup. So I always definitely like a rule of thumb I figured out early was like never more than 2 pure centers because like you said, if you have that confliction, then you're fucked. You can't slot them into a wing. And then I don't know. I always just try and pick up guys that are multi-positional. Like for example, here I've got 2 pure centers. Then my next guys, Konechny, left wing, right wing. Lehkonen, left wing, right wing. Reinhart, center, right wing. Velarde, center, right wing. Kachuk, center, left wing. Svechnikov, left wing, right wing. Right? Like it's just like I only have 2 players that are a single position. Obviously, other than your D-men, but like, which is like I think been helpful because that obviously maximizes the amount of plays I get in a week. But I don't know. It seems to be working for me.
Yeah, it definitely. Well, maximizing plays is a big part of it, right? The more games that you have being played, the biggest stat that gets hurt. The only stat that really gets hurt by that is the plus minus. Right, where you're
and next season let's go with I'm like the dodo, man. Yeah. It's just such a bullshit stat. Like I remember the first week there, I just got absolutely lit up for -6 in a minute because I mean, to my own fault, I had three at the start of the season. I had three Carolina players. I'm down to two now with Jarvis in IR, but like, it's like, yeah, like it just fucked me. Like literally in a minute, Tampa scored two empty net goals, and I went -6, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I lost that category for the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not very representative of like how the team plays as a whole. It's just like it's very situational.
It's a lottery fucking stat, right? At least for our league, the way our league's run. So yeah, I'm gonna do away with it. I want to go, and like I was telling you before, I want to go to 3 goalie stats. I think 4 goalie stats is just too many. You know, for the number of goalies that you actually play, and compared to the number of forwards and stuff, I'd like to see it a 70-30.
Yeah, split. Yeah, I know. I agree with you there. Like for sure. Like, I mean,
and then just make it things like I think face-off percentage is probably a good one, and then I don't know. Still got to figure out what the other one to make for the offensive stats, but definitely want to get away from the plus minus. It's just I'd like ones that make you have to do more than just get like Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl or
yeah. I mean, honestly, penalty minutes. Like I kind of like being a bit of we're sort of like a pseudo banger league because we don't have the penalty minute aspect. Like, but throw the penalty minutes on there. Like, fuck, you get some of those defensive guys that, like, sure, they don't put up a lot of goals and assists, but they'll hit and block, and then they, like, fight every fourth game, right?
If we had that, I would have kept Darnell Nurse.
Fuck, dude, he lit it up for me last night. There, goal and an assist. Like, that was a good. I don't know. I think I picked up two of your defensemen because I think you dropped Dougie Hamilton earlier in the year too, didn't you? And he's been lighting it up for me.
I've floated Dougie Hamilton for a couple days. He wasn't mine to start with, but I did pick him up for a little bit and then let him go.
Yeah, no, he was. Since we're still talking fantasy here, like, I would say half my team's waiver pickups now is the way I seem to go. But I mean, like, Strome's been great. He's literally the setup man for Ovechkin this year, and Ovechkin's like hell bent on getting as many goals as he fucking can. So like, I'm cool with that. Plus, he scores. Konechny, I think you ended up dropping him, and he's, even though Philly's like hot garbage, like he's still, I don't know, he's kind of.
I grabbed him and I dropped him. I had Giroux as well for a little bit. I picked up Giroux for a couple games and I dropped him.
Yeah.
It's I've floated a lot. I mean, I've made a lot of moves in the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, I'm having to look at my totals there and start slowing down so I don't run out by the end of the year for sure.
Yeah, that's where I think I'm at 3 for this week, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna sit pat. I'm in a tie right now, but I'm feeling pretty comfy with the tie that I'm.
Oh man, I'm up 7-2 and I'm dominating almost all my stats. So like, there's no point in me doing anything this week now.
Yeah, my biggest. I mean, I'm up against McDavid. That's the biggest part. Like, I'm only down by 1 on goals. My plus minus, I'm down by 14. I ain't coming back on plus minus most likely. Tied for shots, running away with hits, running away with blocks, running away with saves. I've got the win. I've got the win column for goalies. So goals against, I'm getting chewed up because Binnington, St. Louis is just shit. So, unless I'm playing a team that's got, a guy that's got another sort of shitty team goalie, it's the goals against can be tough. Well, unless it's last week where, like, Hellebuck gets 2 shutouts in the week, then it helps.
Oh, man. My last week was the opposite, where I was getting just fucking lit up. Like, Ottinger had a terrible week, letting in, like, 5 or 6 goals a game there, and same with Lankinen, getting blasted for 7. I was like, well, there goes the week there. Yeah, no, like I said, I don't know, this week, sometimes, with the category leagues, it's like, sometimes you wish you had like these weeks against some of your tougher opponents. Like, I'm literally like, I'm double on goals. I'm almost like quadruple on assists. I'm pretty close on plus minus, almost double on shots, triple on hits, over double on blocks. I got 3-1 on the wins. The goals, I've only got 8 against, and he's got 7, so that could flip. And then I'm like partner double on saves. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. Like, I could basically bench my goalies and he could steal those stats and I'd still win.
Oh, that's a good week. Yeah, you'll probably hold on to first. I'll probably drop a spot or at the end.
I'll drink to that.
Fuck you.
But yeah, sorry. Back to the Pittsburgh fire sale. Yeah, wow, what the fuck is happening there, eh? Dubas, or however the hell you say
Dumbass.
his
That's what they
name.
call him out here. At least that's what I've heard him called
Dumbass.
out here.
Yeah, like what a fucking chump. Like he just went in thinking he's made some off-season acquisitions, signs fucking Carlson to this like ludicrous deal until he's like 67 years old.
Dude,
And
it's
like
shades of John Tavares. That's exactly, it's the
I
same
don't
fucking move, and I'm like, oh well, yeah, he hasn't learned a thing.
yeah, no, it's like dude, you're way too young to be a GM for a fucking NHL club. Personal opinion, but yeah.
I don't even know if
No,
age has
but
anything to do with it. I just think he's not very, he's proven that he's not very good. You know, and
in a short period of time.
you know, it hasn't been that short. He had what 4 or 5 years in Toronto. It wasn't a short run.
I guess so, yeah.
But all it was roll it back, roll it back,
Yeah.
roll it back.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say that there's good guys in that franchise because they had good scouting and stuff because, you know, they obviously kept the same core, paying those guys way too much money. And then
I think that's the problem.
every year you're infilling around them, right? You've got guys from 1-year deals, 2-year deals, and you've got to plug and play every season. And they managed to do that and have some wicked regular seasons.
But I mean, they have some regulars that are like on bargain deals too. Like I mean, like yeah, you got your Malkin, Letang, Crosby.
I was talking Toronto.
Oh fuck! I
was talking about Dubas in Toronto, but yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were moving on to no, I totally agree. Toronto is like way too talented, or was way too talented to be, you know, failing in the playoffs year in year out. But
sure, yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when like whatever it is, like fucking half your salary cap goes to 4 or 5 guys. But sorry, back to the Pittsburgh side of things. Same kind of scenario, obviously, right? Like you got your Crosby, you got your Letang, you got your Carlson, but it's like they've had a couple of guys that have been there for a while too that I don't know, I love, and like they could probably excel on other teams. Like Rust has been like a good 2-way player always. Yep. Raquel's also fucking solid, like, and he's played with like Crosby and Malkin like most of their careers. But
Gensel also there, and they let him go last year. Wasn't that where he was?
Yeah, he ended up going to Pittsburgh there, or sorry, to Tampa, and that was definitely a big loss. But yeah, I don't know, like it's like as a core, if you look at the players on the team, it's like they should be better than they are. Goaltending is obviously their weak point, but like at the same time, kind of the same as the Canucks with the games we lose. It's like you can't blame it all on the goalie if the team in front of you ain't doing fuck all.
No. But like I said, if they are truly going for a fire sale, Chris Letang's the guy I've got circled on my list because I don't think Crosby's not going anywhere. Malkin. I mean, if you can get Malkin, I'll take Malkin.
I heard rumors that they said like everyone but 87 is on the table, which like I don't know how much of that I believe, like because it's not like they're gonna leave fucking Crosby high and dry to play a couple seasons out to retirement, with like a skeleton crew, but like. Yeah, like I think they are willing to like, you know, everyone's an option essentially, right? Like Letang, I agree, like to have that veteran presence in the locker room to help coach the younger guys, like that's invaluable. Yeah, for sure.
And to be putting him in a sort of a backseat role, right? To be taking that guy and able to put him into your second pairing or something.
Yeah,
that's a wealth of resources that it would just be beautiful to see.
Nope, I agree. I mean, I think like I've heard rumors of Marcus Pettersson, and I think that'd be hilarious just for the fact to have 3 Petterssons on the same team.
Yeah.
But also it sounds like Edmonton's has been kind of scoping him out as well. So yeah. No, we'll see what happens. I mean,
I'd be okay with Rickard Rakell or Noel Acciari either. Like either of those two guys. I mean, Beauvillier's not coming back. There's no way.
No, I don't even know if Canucks really need to do anything to their offense, to be honest. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe it'd be nice to have an extra depth player come trade deadline, perhaps. But, yeah, like, I mean, the big target is obviously going to be another defenseman here because, like, Stussie's been soft as applesauce and, like, egg.
Still so weird to me, man, because he was an impact last season, and it's still bizarre that he's just not this year.
It's got to be a head game thing for him, I think. I don't know, like he's just making a lot of mistakes, and like maybe limiting his minutes, kind of like what we've been doing with Myers, will help him out a lot. I mean, it's not like he's playing a ton of minutes as it is, but like, yeah, his plus minus is definitely kind of killing us at the moment.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I mean, Pittsburgh's a fire sale. Hopefully we can benefit from that. And I mean, Bruins are obviously hot garbage as well this year. I love to see that though. Oh, after the Swayman debacle at the start of the season, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kills me on fantasy because I have McAvoy, but he's still doing it for the team there, even if they're crap.
Well, I'm happy to see Boston failing and screw Marchand, but it's crazy, yeah, the whole Swayman deal and how that all played out and everything, and now they're just. I mean, I think it's finally catching up to them, right? Like, I think they were. It was impressive that they were going so strong after losing the guys that they lost. You know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. It's just like I don't know. It's just some teams like Pittsburgh. It's time for them to run their course and a bit of a changing of the guard, if you would.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams being ass, oh man, watching Toronto lose 3-0 to Ottawa earlier this week was a thing of beauty. That was, I mean, not to say that, like, I don't know, I'm obviously hard on the Ottawa train this year, thinking that they're going to squeeze into the playoffs. And I mean, if Omar can play like Omar can play, I mean, last game there where they lost 5-4 to Philly, with Philly only putting up like 19 shots, like, you got to blame it on the goalie then. But if he can play like we know he can play, like, man, that team can go pretty far. But yeah, watching them spank Toronto and I mean spank, like the score was only 3-0, but like they just outplayed them, outpossessioned them. It was like, oh, it was so nice to see.
Well, I mean, Senators are in the running, right? They're in that three-way tie for. They're outside of the playoffs, right? Technically, right now they're a point behind the wild card spot.
Yeah, it's like they gotta figure out their road record woes here. Like, we got our home record woes, they got their road record woes, and I think they've got the potential. I mean, like, fuck, they got Stutzel, who's playing like an absolute all-star player. I mean, I got Brady Tkachuk, so that's another reason why I'm hard on the Ottawa train. Like, he is going out there. Like, I mean, the other night there, he had 12 shots and 8 hits. Like, the guy's doing literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, between those two, Batherson, if he's playing well, I mean, Giroux's old, but he still seems to have talent. He's like Kopitar, right? Those guys just don't fucking age. Like, I think they can go pretty far here.
Still crazy with Winnipeg though, man. 15-2 is insane. I don't know what to say about them. It's incredible. It's something to see.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Tampa brought him back to earth yesterday, but I mean, in all reality, you didn't have Hellebuyck playing, and they only really had like a bad period and a half, and then they started playing well. Like, no, they're unreal, and like, I guess I kind of don't get it, because like, I need to maybe look into it, and maybe I'll bring it up on next episode. But like, they didn't really make any roster changes that I can see. Like, there was really like nothing that they made for acquisitions in the off season.
No, the thing with Winnipeg is they everything's kind of homegrown there, and I think it's because I was actually watching a video about this, and I kind of agree that nobody wants to go to Winnipeg. So when you can get a player to sign to Winnipeg, they actually want to be there. And outside of that, like, everyone, like, when it comes to like Scheifele and Wheeler and Hellebuyck, like, those are guys that they drafted and built through their system, and like they have a very solid foundation. The way that they're forced to build their team because they're it's a place that nobody wants to live. When you're talking millionaires that can literally, basically, choose any of the major, like, the most beautiful cities in North America to live in, right? And you've got other places like even in Florida where you got tax deductions and tax breaks in Texas and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, and that's like part of the reason why we have such a hard time, like north of the border, getting quality players. Is for that reason alone. Is the fact the taxes in Canada just fucking punish you for playing for a Canadian team.
Yeah, and then you add the whole Canadian market, press and all that shit on top of it. I can see how it makes it unappealing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I do want to go back. I was just looking at Letang. He's only getting $6.1 million a year. He's signed for another 3 years beyond this one, which is too many. But you get if you can convince them to hold. I mean, I'd want him to hold 50%, but if you could even get him to hold 30% or 20%.
Yeah, for 3 years isn't unreasonable thing.
Well, and there's a good chance he retires before then too, right?
I mean, if we could somehow, because like I feel like, okay, so in theory you bring Letang on, you obviously keep the Hughes Hronek pairing, you put Letang on with Myers, you bump down Soucy and Brandstrom,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been loving that kid. He's been playing really well. So like I think he sticks around. If you could clear Darnay's cap space, which is 4 million, that's pretty fucking doable.
Well, I don't even think they need to necessarily. Again, I think if what they're saving, with all the moves and everything with the injury or the salary cap, I don't know. I think they could do it. I think I have enough faith in the ownership or the leadership of that team that if they can do it, they'll make it happen.
Yeah. So I'm looking right now. So their current cap space is 1.4 million, and their deadline cap space will bump up to 5.2. So that's what we got.
Okay.
So yeah, like you said, if you can get them to retain 30%, then you got them.
I mean, why not 50? If they're heading into a full rebuild, they'll be able to take that money, right? And maybe you've got to give in maybe it's a second round pick or something, right? I don't know. I mean, we're talking a defenseman that had 50 points last year, right? Like.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he's 37, but he's a workhorse. Like
Yeah.
And he's dependable, right? He's a proven defenseman. He's like a Brent Burns, right?
Yeah, but maybe a little better. His Corsi 4 has never been negative. Well, his very first year, his advanced stats weren't great. Yeah, he's a solid, and again, it's the experience. It's the Stanley Cups, all that stuff. I think he'd be an awesome influence on Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there.
And he shoots right.
Yeah, that's the hole that we've been trying to fill. So, well, let's have a shot to speculating that Letang becomes a Canuck.
I'll drink to that. Either way, they're doing something. I expect at least 2 moves before the season's over. Is what I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any predictions as of yet, but I mean, we can stick with that one for now, and I'll come up with something next. All right, so. Upcoming week games. We got the Blackhawks on Saturday. Bedard coming home. Apparently he bought out half of the arena. So that should be a good game. We got them back-to-back. They're playing the Preds Sunday, and then they play the Rangers on Tuesday, and then they have a nice long break till Saturday. So what are your predictions this week, Rhodes?
So we got 4 games coming up this week?
3. Blackhawks, Predators, Rangers.
Oh, yeah, before Saturday. Okay. Oh, jeez. I mean, I think they gotta win 2 of the 3. If they can't let Nashville walk over them, they can't let Chicago do it. New York, but it's they're so tricky at home. This is a tough one. So I'm gonna say, I mean, I think they got to beat Chicago, they got to beat Nashville, and I think they'll lose to the Rangers. That's what I'm thinking right now. As far as the score, I'm gonna say 4-3 Chicago, 2-1 Nashville, and 5-2 loss to New York.
Ooh, 5-2 New York. Alrighty. All right. I'm gonna be a little more pessimistic. I think with the loss of Bessie right now and a little bit of line juggling, I'm gonna say they're gonna come out hard and they'll beat Chicago. I think your score's not too far off, but I think it's going to be a bit more of a barn burner for Bedard's homecoming. I'm going to call it a 5-4 win for the Canucks. I have a feeling Shilovs might start this back-to-back. And then Nashville, I'm going to be... I don't know. Historically, those games are always so fucking boring and low-scoring. You picked 2-1 already. You know what? They'll get the empty netter. I'm going to say 3-1 Nashville.
We can pick the same score. I'm just gonna go out, and say we can choose that. That is an option.
Well, no. Sorry. I guess. Yeah. No, you're right. Fuck. I'm stupid. You're saying they're gonna beat Nashville 2-1. I'm gonna say they're gonna lose against Nashville 2-1.
All right.
And then Rangers. God, I want to say it's gonna be closer than 5-2. I'm gonna say. You know what? No, I'm gonna be a realist this week. I'll go 4-3 loss.
All right.
So 5-4 win, 2-1 loss, 4-3 loss, and you got a 4-3 win, 2-1 win, and a 5-2 loss. So.
Yeah, I think they have to win 2 of these 3 games. I think they have to.
Oh, I agree. I think.
So
I kind of want to.
You said 5-3 for Chicago.
5-4.
5-4.
It's gonna be a barn burner. Liquor and Bedard with hat tricks.
I'll watch that. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah, it'd be a fucking fun game.
7-point game for Quinn Hughes or something. or 5-point game. Get him in on everything.
Yeah, there you go.
And I see all this stuff, and it's right. Everyone's right. I'm running out of like adjectives or verbs, and like there aren't the words to describe how good Quinn Hughes is anymore. It's just like, what can be said that hasn't already been said at this point?
Is this what you're doing? Just creaming all over Hughes again, eh?
So yeah, yep. No, I mean, we don't got to go there. There's not much more to say, really. At least as far as I'm concerned, it's.
No, you're just in love with him. I get it.
Yeah, I got a man crush. What can I say?
Yeah, I know his hockey IQ is crazy. I mean, he had a couple human games this last week, but he's gonna bounce back. He always does.
Yeah, and to be fair, he didn't look great against the Islanders, right? There was a couple times he was out there. I mean, they did score against him, but again, this is a guy that's like him and Hronek have allowed less than double-digit goals against 5-on-5 to this point in the season, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I can't be mad at him for sure. Just saying, yeah, he was that game. He was definitely the bottom right on the scorecard there. He was a bit of a liability for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious where I know Hronek's stats aren't great so far this season, but I don't know what to think about Hronek. I'm still very much a fan. I think he makes Quinn Hughes better, and I think that's kind of an intangible. I just don't know. He's not getting the points, but I don't think points are everything, right? Like, Chris Tanev is a great defenseman, doesn't really get the points.
No, I agree, but I mean, like, he's on pace for, what has he got? He's got a goal and 5 assists so far, so he's got 6 points in 15 games. Like, he's on pace for like 40 points, whereas he got 60 last season. So, yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that he'll pick it up. He's still +8 to start the year, so he's obviously, like you said, him paired up with Hughes. They don't make too many mistakes. Yeah, sorry, you got 4. No, actually, he got 48 for the season last year. So, like, I guess he's under half a point per game right now, but yeah, he's about on pace for a little under on pace what he got last year.
Yeah, I mean, and in fairness, last year most of those points came in the first half of the season, and then he kind of dried up.
Yeah,
and wasn't super like getting a ton of points in the playoffs. But again, that's not his job. His job there is to be the steady support for Quinn Hughes, right? And that's what I think. I think that's where he's supposed to be. Yeah,
no, he's his big check protector.
But you know who had a great game, according to the advanced stats or the analytics against the Islanders, is Elias Pettersson.
I know, man. Like I said, even the game against Edmonton, like, he was one of the only players on the ice that wasn't minus and fucking still putting up points. Like, so yeah, his progression over the last week has been great, and like I said, watching him smile and actually enjoy playing hockey is fantastic. Another thing I read is that he deleted like all of his social media. He's just like, okay. I think it was definitely a bit of a head case thing where he's just reading too much negative shit about him, and it was affecting his play. So yeah, he's just his phone, and he's just gonna focus on playing hockey, which is what he should be doing right now.
Yeah. Put down the Fortnite. No more video games. Just play hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, his trajectory. I'm actually looking at it. Just say, like, even his advanced stats. It's like it's on a very nice upward curve over the last week, which is
upward curves are nice.
Yeah, I'll drink to that. Cheers.
All right. Well.
So you also want to talk about Boston? Where else we want to go?
Yeah, fuck, I don't know. We talked Canucks a lot today for sure. I mean,
hey, you wanted to shit on Toronto a little bit, didn't you?
Oh, I think I got my shitting in on there when they're talking about how poorly they played against Ottawa.
Oh, that's true.
But I mean, I'll shit on them more if you want.
All right. Well, how about we talk about this? That fucking hit on Brock Besser. We can talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess last episode which you forgot to air. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I will come out here. I shit the bed there. That's 100% me. I kind of kept going after we recorded our episode and got a little hungover. Wasn't feeling too great the next day.
Yeah. Shit happens.
Yeah, and then I just ran out. I just didn't make time. And I was like, fuck it. I'm already 2 days behind. Like, it's like, fuck, you know.
That was some of our best content yet. The viewers will never get to hear it now.
Yeah, yeah, all two of them.
Yeah.
I think it's about consistency, right? I think the more consistent we are, it's gonna help to expose it. Right? It'll get
Yeah.
viewed. It'll be promoted more or whatever. And I got to do a better job of signing in and actually checking and seeing if people are commenting. Um, try and get
Yeah,
people commenting.
it's all good. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh no, it's yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about now?
Shitting on Toronto or Brock Besser getting hit by Jeannot.
Yeah. No, there's no hit. Yeah. I mean, 3 day suspension. I don't know if that's like enough, but I guess with not being a repeat offender, that seems pretty on par. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hate the whole air of mystery around when he's going to be back. Like, I get it. They don't want to divulge too much information, but as fans, we're worried. We want to know how Brock's doing
I
there.
think a concussion is really difficult though too, right? Like, because it really depends on the individual. Because some people come back from a concussion within a week. Other people, it's a month or 2 months. It depends on. I don't know what it really depends on. On their brain. Like, concussions are fucked that way. But does Brock have a history?
No, I know. It's like I guess like we'll know as soon he's on the ice practicing again. But yeah, it's like I appreciate them being cautious with it and like, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard because it's hard to know because it wasn't like a lights out on the ice concussion. It was just he got his fucking head rocked and obviously he laid on the ice there for a minute. But like I think he was conscious the whole time. So
Yeah, he wasn't out cold. Certainly, it's hard to know, right? But it's the lingering effects when it comes to concussions, right? When you wake up the next day and you're a little woozy, and you want to be
yeah,
safe
for
about
sure.
it, right? And the thing with Brock is he's never been the healthiest player, right? I think last year was his best season, partly because he played the whole season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Typically he plays 60 games. You're getting 60, 62 games. That's what you get out of Brock Besser. Which, you know what? Perfect. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm kind of okay with it being a contract year for him. Get injured, drive your price down a little.
Yeah, so just like
Get a
just
bargain
quickly,
contract.
yeah, quickly numbers wise there. Like you said, last season was his best. He only missed one game there, so he put up 73 points and 40 goals. Prior to that, he didn't miss too much time the season before with 74 games. But then yeah, like there was a stretch there, basically like from when he started, where he played 2018-19 69 games, giggity, 19-20 57 games, 2021 56 games, and then like progressively he started playing more and more.
Yeah, and they're always different injuries. It seems like, right? So I don't know if any of those were concussions before, but you got to play it safe. I don't know. It's a week to week kind of thing where I think you're right. Once he's practicing, it's a short order before he's back in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Just
And
rest
I
up.
and I think he's
But,
out there skating, right? Like, I think he was skating with the boys the other day. I thought I heard something about that.
oh yeah, see, I'm not sure. I thought he hasn't been on the ice yet, but
Oh
like I
no, what
said,
it
just
was, he was working out with Horvat. That's what it was.
uh-huh.
So he
Gotcha.
was at the rink and met up with Horvat.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's at least he's out doing something physical, so that's a good sign.
But yeah, it's tricky with the injuries. I think 3 games is probably about right. I was actually having a conversation with my old man about it, right? And he's very much on this. I think if you injure a guy, you should be, and it's a hit like that where you had intent, right? And it's obvious when you watch it, like he meant to hit him there.
Oh yeah.
Like, he didn't try to
Oh, for sure.
stop it. He leaned into it. He knew exactly what he was doing. And my old man's always had sort of, well, you should be tossed out for as long as he's injured. And
Yeah.
I don't like that personally. I get it. I think it's an emotional sort of sentiment, but like, guys could be injured, right? Even though, like, and you could do something like that where you go out to hit a guy and you want to hurt him and then you hurt him, but he might already be injured, and or you don't know how that's going to play out. Like what if the guy doesn't play again? Like, should you never play it? I mean, I guess if it's a case of like Todd Bertuzzi or something, maybe, you know, I don't know. But I think for where the NHL's at and what they do, I think 3 games is about right. You know, the suspensions hurt them in the wallet, right, in the pocketbook, which is what hurts the player more than anything. Especially a guy that's not like making $10 million a year or something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Not that they're not all making great money, but still, you're when you miss a game, that's a significant pay cut. It's a lot more than the $5,000 fine, the maximum.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with the suspension length either. It's just, yeah, hopefully he just gets back soon, and we'll survive without him for now. I did have something on a tangent too, but I can't fucking remember because I'm a little tipsy.
No,
I mean,
Utah sister wives.
I don't know. Utah's just fucking Arizona with another branding. Like, it's kind of funny. It's like sometimes when I see their name come up on the weekly schedule against, like, say, against guys on my fantasy, because I don't have any Utah players, and it's just like, you know, it's like I'm like, oh, I'm playing Utah. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's just Arizona with a different jersey color. Like, it's, you know, the team's no more effective than they were last year. I heard that they're finally starting to sell their jerseys, which cool. I guess you can get a inaugural Utah Hockey Club jersey.
Ooh.
Yeah, hopefully they're half price because they're not really a real team yet.
I mean, they will be a collector's item. You got to know, yeah. That's got to be a thing, especially if the team ever becomes anything. Like, it'll be a collector's item once they've actually got a name, unless they just stick with the Utah Hockey Club, which God, I hope not.
No, I don't even think the NHL would let that happen.
I hope not, because I think it's just terrible. I mean, it's almost as bad as the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Well, you can't be whatever they were called before, right?
I mean, we've got the Blackhawks.
I know it's kind of, that's an interesting actually topic. It's just like, you know, some people get bent out of shape, like, oh, you can't use that term. Like, you know, it was like the Edmonton Eskimos thing. Oh, they're Inuits, can't be Eskimos, and it's like, oh, the Blackhawks. It's like, I mean, I feel like if I was Indigenous and like speaking to some coworkers that are Indigenous, they're like, it's kind of a pride thing. I mean, like, honestly, like the Blackhawks, I think there's been, you know, there's the whole like, oh, people talking about how they need to change their name, but then you like talk to anybody from the area that's Indigenous, it's like, no, that's awesome. It's like, you know, it kind of like helps represent our culture. Like, why does it have to be a negative connotation? Like, I find the people that are trying to cancel that shit most of the time is just some like angry white guy or angry white woman, you know, like.
Yeah, it's rare. I mean, it's rare that it's actually, because there's a lot of teams that were named after different kinds of natives and stuff. And I know for certain, I'm pretty, well, not for certain, but I'm pretty sure in Chicago, like, there's native bands around there who are like, no, we want you to keep the name. Please do not change it. Like, we appreciate it.
That's what I mean.
Like, you know, but no, Ottawa was the Rough Riders, wasn't it? You had the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and you had the Ottawa Rough Riders, and then they came back and they didn't want to have two different Rough Riders, so they just went with the Red Blacks, which is, again, I just think it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's like, let's just call ourselves the color of our jersey.
pretty fucking lazy for sure.
I'll take Utah Hockey Club over like the Utah Blue Whites or White Blues. You know, like, oh, it's just lazy. I don't know. I don't know what kind of focus group they used, but those people are dumb.
They just use some people in the fucking government there, and they're like, they probably spent like months and months to make that decision too, and they're like, oh yes, it's brilliant. It won't offend anyone. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I think red and black are like, they're good colors. They're good colors. They can make some cool jerseys out of that, right? Like, I love the Lions with their orange and black. When they go the matte black jersey, like, ooh, that's a wicked looking jersey.
Yeah.
It's same with the skate in the Canucks, right? When they go with the black skate jersey, I love it.
I know. I'm still secretly hoping that they switch that full time, but you know, it's a bit of a rebranding.
Yeah, I think it's just too much to rebrand it, but I mean, half their home games they play in that jersey. They know it's a fan favorite, and I'm good with it like that, you know. I liked Luongo coming in, you know, free the skate. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about the whole talk about Ryan Kessler getting retired as a Canuck?
Ah, yeah, that's right. Forgot about Party Boy there.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's I love that though. That's hilarious. Like, comes back to the city for I don't know why he's even in Vancouver or if he lives there,
I
but
think it
like,
was a hockey tournament. I think his kids were in a hockey tournament. So he's got like a 13-year-old
the,
son and he coaches them. And so they were playing in a hockey tournament, brought his kid to the hockey game. And then,
yeah, fucking slams the beer on camera. Like,
yeah,
what a beauty. Then
yeah,
goes to the Roxy and like starts singing.
yeah. I'm all for him. If they want to let him retire as a Canuck, I'm all for it. Because he never officially retired, right? So I'm all for that. I'm not sure that I want to see him up in the Ring of Honor. I don't know about that one, but I'm all for him
No, I
retiring a
mean,
Canuck. I think that's more than fair.
yeah, I mean, like, I mean, obviously it shows my age, but like Kessler was, it's definitely like one of my favorites growing up, right? Like, I mean, he was a Canuck from what, 2003 to like 2014, so like it was a good decade before he became a Duck for a few years there, and then and then he ended his career. But like, yeah, I don't know if he necessarily needs to be a Ring of Honor guy, but like he's just always been kind of like he was always a favorite of mine. He's that player that like everyone hated to play against, but you love to have him on the team, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He was a bit of a rat, but like he played a hard game, and he left it all out on the ice every game. You never had to question his compete. It's a lot. He reminds honestly, JT Miller reminds me a lot of Ryan Kessler. You know, they're different
Agreed.
players, but at the same time, like there's a lot of cross similarities between the two, and yeah,
Oh yeah, both super emotional, right? They
yeah.
like wear their heart on their sleeve. They fucking lay it out all on the line. Like,
JT Miller's an asshole.
yeah, Kessler's an asshole.
Yeah. No, I'd be for it. I'd be all for it. I think it'd be great. I just, like I said, Ring of Honor, I don't quite think that's for him.
No, fair enough.
So, well, might as well have a shot and close it out then, I guess, eh? So,
Yeah, sounds good to me.
cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Let's sort of pour it up here. Yeah, to the one or two people that choose to tune in to our idiotic rambling. Here's
Yep.
to you. Let us know if there's anything you want us to give our dumb opinion on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't like what we have to say, tell us. Okay. So, this is post-editing Rhodes here, and found a little treat while I was going through and editing this, and I'm going to throw this in here for any of you that are still sticking around and listening. Here you go.
Well, can you hear me?